Welcome to Walking with Chris and Vanessa.
Have you and your spouse ever left issues unresolved? Has your spouse shut down on you? Do you have unmet expectations? Or do you feel unloved or disrespected? It doesn't have to stay that way. That's where Marriage Diamonds system helps couples to create a safe environment for productive communication. Welcome to Walking with Chris and Vanessa, where we dive deep into real testimony of marriage, purpose, and partnership. Today, we're unpacking perpetual issues. So, this was a diamond that we made back in 2023, and I had actually just returned back from going to Japan with my nieces and nephews. And when I came back, we had some irregular expenses that were tapping on our shoulders, about $18K of additional expenses. And God had told us to pay off our first home in Columbus. And we were having a financial conversation. And I say this has been a perpetual issue because we have made many diamonds in this area. And I think the pressure from these conversations is why we perfected Marriage Diamonds so well, because whenever we have these conversations, they are intense. They are not in the spirit. I mean, everything you can do wrong, I did it, because this is a passionate topic for me. And, just to be honest, this is a childhood wound. This is the little girl in me trying to find safety and security in times of financial instability. So, giving you that background, my perspective is I got to a place where I no longer accepted the lack of financial contribution and prioritization in our marriage and money. And I was feeling that Chris was being irresponsible and a poor financial steward. And I was fed up and tired of it, and I was ready for a change. And actually, this was the trigger for the marriage abandonment letter that I wrote Chris, that I was finally ready to leave seriously, November of 2023. Chris, what's your perspective?
I would say this has been something that's been a really big issue for us. And like you said, it does seem as if it's one of those perpetual things. And for me, really seeking to be a contributor, but also seeking to build a dream. It's like two different things. And a lot of times, the things that get in the way of the consistent contribution is the sporadic financial contribution or the finances that come in as an entrepreneur. And you can have a big month and you can have a lean month, and it's not like steady with, like, if you have a specific job or career or something like that. And I've noticed that, and I just hadn't been led to go back into the job force. Also, we haven't had the conversations to really develop the financial management partnership that we would continually manage the finances that God has given us so that we can move differently in this season. We did have that one month where we truly just cut everything back and we made the adjustments, but we still haven't had the partnership in money. I think that that's been a major issue for us in more ways than one. And I think it's caused a lot of friction.
Yes, agreed. It's funny. I was watching the Dear Future Wifey podcast, a replay of Marcus D. Wiley, and he said that in those vows, we're supposed to be married in sickness and in health. And he was mentioning how it's not how you think it is. You can be sick mentally, or this different forms of sickness that you can have a poor attitude. Like, it doesn't have to just be the financial, but at the end of the day, my takeaway is we are two imperfect people trying to work towards that perfection. And after reviewing this diamond, I guess this is where God says, my grace is sufficient for you, because, I know what I want, and that's what came out of the diamond, and I'll get to that. But God continues to be the provider of that. And I think the pain that we experience in this perpetual issue is giving us the experience and testimony to reach other couples who are going through similar things. So the diamond that we came up for this one is that the money that Chris was bringing in, because we understand entrepreneurship is going to be up and is going to be down. Let's start using that money for capital. And I was requesting, because at that time you were managing both the personal and the business finance. I wanted you to be a better steward over the finances. So I was like, well, let me take over the personal side and you focus on the business side. And then prioritization, that's another one of our perpetual issues. I requested quality time, that we laugh together, have fun together, have dinner together. Like, you my friend, I want to be with you. Then I wanted you to contribute to our basic living expenses for a full month. And at that time, for a partnership, we were developing a plan on what a God-centered life was. And your win of the diamond was to have weekly family meetings. So, Chris, real or fad diamond?
This diamond is fake. It's a fad at this time because we still haven't figured out how to dance fully and in sync with each other financially. And as we figure it out, I think we'll have a lot more, not only success, but we won't put pressures on ourselves that a lot of that pressure belongs on our provider, which is God. And he's continually provided for us. He continues to do exceedingly and abundantly above all we can ask for, think of, or imagine. It's just we can't, from my perspective, we can't put our expectation on top of what God is already provided. We need to just steward what he's given us in partnership and in oneness with each other. That's my perspective. Parts of it are cool because of our friendship and how we're connecting and the different way that I'm serving now. I don't know if this is when I first started cooking. I don't know. 2020, I think, is when I was starting to get towards that, but just doing a lot more in contribution and doing other things to where I'm managing the number one thing, which is our relationship and our connection effectively. But right now, I would have to say that this is a work in progress. So this is a fad.
I agree, it's a fad. And, that's what we were saying for marriage diamonds. Marriage diamonds is for those routine issues that you've been ignoring. Marriage diamonds is not for perpetual issues. This is where you need to go get counseling or coaching and, find a different strategy. And we've tried those things. We learned John Gottman. And one of the things that he mentioned for perpetual issues is there's a hidden dream. It's not about solving this issue. It's about uncovering that hidden dream and helping your spouse realize that hidden dream. And I'm going to let you do the takeaways, but I wanted to add this before I gave it to you is, one of the things I realized looking at this, and you said it many times, I focus on what you're not doing versus recognizing all the things that you do. And if you're a great spiritual leader, you're constantly praying and seeking what God would have for your family. You're a phenomenal friend. You get me. You know my orders. You know how to cook for me. And it tastes good. You're a good roommate. Like, I just said the other day, I realized I'm the junkie one. He's like, I knew that since we was dating when I was washing your dishes. You're an excellent chef, Kobe chef. Get him. Okay, he ain't available. It's my personal chef. You're a great son and brother on both sides. My family look at you like a brother. And you're a good neighbor. Better than State Farm. And you're a loving leader. So I focus on what I don't have, but God is filled in what I don't have because of my expectations. And my realization is His grace is sufficient for me.
So I would say for the keys for this one, and just kind of, and I'm actually speaking to myself, and I may be speaking to somebody out there who you find yourself, God's giving you vision. He's giving you a dream. He's also giving the provision, but you and your spouse just really haven't got it together in terms of what your expectations are financially yet. And that's kind of what we're working through right now. So like I said, this don't got no dust on it. So key number one that I'm going to speak to myself in these keys, and hopefully somebody that's listening, this will bless you too. Key number one is to know that God is the provider. If God has called you to something, He's going to provide for it. And as long as you and your spouse know how to, one, not just hear from God, but are in connection with God in prayer, and you know that this is the direction that God is leading you, then just know that He got you. He's going to send forth the provision that you need, but it's up to us to steward. So we're going into key number two. Key number two is be gracious and love with an open hand. And that means that you got to love with an open hand and an open heart. There's knowing that all that we have belongs to God. There's no yours and mine. There's none of that when it comes to oneness. It's all ours, and it's all God has given to us to manage and to be good stewards over, because that allows for us to walk together as one and not fighting against one another and comparing each other, because I think that brings forth a division. And key number three is don't stop working on it. Don't stop working on it. Don't give up. Don't stop working on it, because the moment you stop, the moment you give up, that's the moment you fail. And if you continue to work on it like this, like I said, this is something that was 2023 and it's past 2023, and we're still working on getting this area so we can dance more in rhythm in this area together. But don't stop working on it, man. We're still talking about it. We're still coming up with the different strategies. There's hidden inner wounds in both of us that we need to deal with and move forward so that we can actually find a better dance. We can dance better financially. So that's what I have for the keys. And like I said, I'm speaking to myself, and as long as somebody else is out there listening, hopefully you'll be able to glean from this too, as I know that finance is one of the number one causes of separation and divorce. And if you don't talk about it, you're not going to have a healthy discourse. And just like you just heard Vanessa said, she was able to find the things that are outside of that one area to see, like, man, 90%, Chris, you killing it. You got it. You that one, right? Well, in this area though, we need to still tighten our game up, because this is causing my insecurities to rise up, and I'm noticing things about me, and I'm saying the same thing. It's just we just need to learn how to dance financially. Like she just said, get help, get a strategy, and make sure we move forward together. And don't give up, man. Just keep moving forward together. Now, I think Vanessa got something else. Hold on.
Thank you for joining for this serious, real conversation. And if this resonated with you, like, subscribe, share with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you're not right You're not wrong. You're just different. Learn to make a diamond.